Hi, everybody. First of all, thank you so much for coming out tonight, coming out to support Kristen, the book, the project, and Hillary. So Lisa and I are really, really happy when we get the opportunity to open our doors for things like this. We do other events to make money so that we can have the freedom in our lives to do this kind of work, because this is what our work is. Somebody once said that when you take a stand for something, that the universe will inherently throw up all the obstacles. That everything that is why you should second guess yourself and question it, every hurdle will come up flying in your face. And I think that culturally, America is at that crossroads right now. We elected an amazing man, an African-American man, to be our president, and he showed us extraordinary things. But what also happened as a result of his presidency is we peeled back layers of systemic racism that people had become dulled to and inured to, and didn't realize quite how deep it was and quite how pervasive it was, like the air we breathe and the water that we drink. And as a result of his presidency, we are engaged in much deeper conversations, and we are not even remotely close to where we need to go. But there's an opening that wasn't there before. When Hillary ran for president the first time and the second time, unparalleled levels of misogyny became clear and were revealed to so many of us in a way that I myself, as somebody who grew up in a feminist household, who grew up extremely aware and conscious not only of feminism, but of all the otherness as a result of that experience, I became aware of the fact that my own consciousness needed to be raised, and that all of our consciousnesses needed to be raised, and that there were things that so many of us had accepted on so many levels as that just is the way that it is, and it is what we deal with, and we accept it and we move on. And I also began to see that conversation in terms of racism, and the extent to which I felt my consciousness had been raised a bit during Obama's presidency. I realized during Hillary's candidacy that I had no idea. That the depths, every time I had an experience as a woman or as a gay person or as a Jew that I realized that people didn't get, I realized what I didn't get about the things I thought I got was so much deeper. And that was profoundly and incredibly useful. We have so much work to do. But the response to that is that we have a pendulum swinging, and we have people showing up in places like Charlottesville doing things that we thought were not possible. We have elected a man like Donald Trump. But I say that that is not where our country is going. It is the last death throes, the last we are fighting for our lives of something that needs to die. And that's what's happening. And we're gonna continue doing the work. And they're gonna throw their best at us. But we're stronger and we're more powerful. And every day that we continue to peel the layers back and look deeper and become more aware of our own experiences and the experiences of those around us, and understand that even if we can't understand somebody else's experience, because we know our experience, we know that they have something that needs to be understood and respected. And it doesn't matter. I now have a friend from a different background where when she says something, I don't need to understand it to understand that it's there and it's real, and I need to respect it. That's a new level of empathy and compassion and humanity that I didn't have before, and I think that we're sharing that, and that's a cultural shift. Somebody last night in a conversation who was a Hillary supporter and is an incredible social activist said, I can't stand all the Hillary love, all of the rock star blah, blah, blah. And I understood what she was saying, but at the same time, I understood something for me that's a little deeper. I've watched this woman since she was elected president. I mean, pardon me, since her husband was elected president, since they were elected, because they were a team. They were a team and a partnership. They viewed themselves as a team and a partnership. He was the in front of the camera guy, she was the behind the scenes girl, but that's how their relationship worked. Neither of them felt the other was more or less. And it felt for me like people of my parents' generation had been elected. Like my mom's friends, had they been in New York politics, they would have known each other. And it was such a breakthrough. And then I watched this extraordinary woman who was, you know, top of her class and so accomplished, and then spent that time doing everything from working for the Children's Defense Fund to registering voters to working on Watergate, and then becoming a partner in a law firm in Arkansas, not in Brooklyn, in Arkansas, be diminished to what headband she wore and what was her cookie recipe. And I began to watch how everything she put forward and how hard she worked on healthcare was slapped down time and time again. And I didn't get it until I was much older. I didn't even get it until now. The brilliance of this woman, of this human being who got knocked down, Chumbawamba, she got back up again, but she took notes. Hillary took notes. I got jokes. She doesn't have as many jokes. I got jokes. And she said, oh, got it. Newt Gingrich said I wasn't elected. Checklist, get my own constituency. Hi, New York, how are you? And was it a Caroline Kennedy, like, here I am, vote for me because I'm some celebrity? No, it was I'm gonna go county by county. I'm gonna talk, but more importantly, I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna learn, and then I'm gonna launch a campaign that's gonna get me elected, because I will be engaged with these people. I will hear what they've had to say, and then I will go and I will fight for them, because that's my role in life, is to fight for people. And the fights may change week to week, month to month, year to year, but my job is to listen, engage, and then go out and represent. And that's what she did. And by all accounts, on both sides of the aisle, there are very few senators who have ever been as successful in working across the aisle, in compromising and getting things done, which is really what we need out of our elected officials. You can stand on a hill and say, I'm uncompromising on this issue, and you can accomplish nothing and it can look good, but our lives are all affected. We need those compromises to be made. We need moves forward and strides forward. This woman has continued to take every assault, every battery, every accusation, from the most bizarre and the most outrageous, but her emails, Vince Foster, this, that, and the next thing. And she has continued again and again to get up, brush herself off, and say, what's next? How can I be of service? And it's the most extraordinary thing. And so for me, there are times I haven't agreed with her. There are times that I've picked fights. But watching that character, that quality of humanity, has been so inspirational. And if I can ever accomplish, you know, a tenth, a fifth of what she does, and the ability to be resilient in the face of opposition and not personalize it, but use it to fuel her, use it to serve her cause, I would be an extraordinary person. But instead, I'm gonna sit and applaud her and use her as inspiration. And I think the conversation about worshiping her, it's not about worshiping a human being. It's not personal. She's an extraordinary human being, but she also represents all of us. And she has privilege that she has earned and gained and worked for, but she uses it for good. That's what those kids in Florida are doing right now. They come from relatively well backgrounds. They're well educated, they're well spoken, they look good in front of a camera, but they are taking their privilege, whatever that is, and they are using it for good. That's the gift that we all have. That's the opportunity that we all have. And that's what Hillary represents for me. And that's the conversation that we're all in. And it's not about who gets elected or who doesn't get elected, but it's about continuing that fight. And Kristen's passion for this project and illustrating that has moved us so much that we are so proud to be part of it. So thank you all so much for coming.